Now that Clair Obscur Expedition 33 has been out for a while, we've been experimenting with more and more optimal builds. Thanks to Tenkiei over at sister site Maxroll, whose build guide and YouTube channel are both linked in the description, we have a new endgame nuke build for Maelle that didn't get hit too hard by the recent patch. This will give the broad strokes of the build and go over the most important points. But if you want an exhaustive breakdown from max optimization, make sure you check out the original guide page. And it may be obvious, but since we're discussing endgame stuff, there will be spoilers. You've been warned. The goal of this build is to set up an optimal casting of burning canvas from Maelle. In order to do that, since you need a ton of burn stacks for max damage, she'll need some party support, namely from Verso and Sciel. And turn order is important. We'll circle back to that later. Verso is the setup jab of your party. The linchpin of Verso's role is the weapon Corpesso, which you receive from the Noir's enemy in the Dark Shore. On every basic attack, this sword applies 2 burn stacks per rank. Doing the math, that means 20 stacks per hit at S rank when we have the double burn Lumina equipped. If your weapon is level 33, you'll then want to max out agility, then put points into luck until you reach about 75% crit chance, and then vitality, and then might for the correct scaling. If under weapon level 33, focus on might before vitality.
Show me what you can do.
A quick aside on weapon choice, there are enemies who absorb fire damage, and Confuso makes a good alternative, as it uses light damage for burning instead. It's not as efficient for applying burn stacks, but this is also a small exception for very particular enemies. Since you'll be focusing on applying burning with base attacks and free aim, your skills don't matter much, but 2 can be useful in certain situations: Follow-Up and Phantom Stars. For his Pictos, Cheater, Fueling Break, and then Combo Attack 3. If not Fueling Break, then any Pictos that gets that crit chance to about 75%. Here are his mandatory Luminas for this build, and some additional ones that can also help. Your primary goal with these Luminas and Pictos are inflicting burn stacks and generating AP, with a secondary goal of dealing damage. Remember that the Sniper Lumina means your first free aim shot can break enemies, so don't lose that opportunity if it's there. If Verso is the setup jab, Maelle is the knockout cross that follows behind. Burning Canvas is your primary skill here, and while it uses burn stacks to calculate damage, it actually strikes with void damage, so you don't need to worry about enemies that absorb fire. Medallum is the best weapon here, as it starts you in Virtuose stance, letting her access her incredible damage immediately. You should have this weapon if you used Maelle way back in the Gestrel Village arena, but in case you missed it, you'll need to take on Golgra, the village chef, as they like to say. The extra burn stacks and burn damage is nice, but most enemies won't last past the casting of Burning Canvas. For this weapon at level 33, your attribute priority is defense, then agility, then might due to the intensity of the scaling. Alternatively, you could use Brularum or Lithium. You'll just need to do a bit more work to get to Virtuose, and you'll need to swap your stats around to match the weapon's primary scaling. As far as skills go, most of the time you'll go between Burning Canvas for damage and Swift Stride to get back into Virtuose stance, but reverse that order if not using Medallum. Fleuret Fury is great for breaking enemies, and Phantom Strike can help her build to her level 3 gradient attack, Gommage. Lastly, Breaking Rules can get rid of enemy shields. For her Pictos, Confident Fighter, Powerful Shield, and Greater Rush. We're looking for speed so she can act as often as possible, and 100% crit rate. Luminas play a big part here as well, with Auto Death and Survivor triggering her massive damage bonuses at battle start. And don't use Shortcut, as that will mess up turn order, and Verso needs to go before her. To conclude the boxing metaphor, if Verso and Maelle are 1-2 punch, Sciel is the coach shouting encouragement from your corner. Her role is to make sure the other 2 act as frequently as possible, and to double Maelle's damage with Fortune's Fury. Her weapon matters much less than the other 2 combatants, but Lithicin is probably your best bet here. An attribute should prioritize agility, and then move to luck. On Sciel's turn, you'll be swapping uses of Fortune's Fury on Maelle, and Intervention on any ally who's about to go after the next enemy to move them up the order. If Maelle already has Fortune's Fury and intervention is not needed, go ahead and cast Fortune's Fury on Verso. Her Pictos aren't really important as long as you prioritize speed, other than equipping Energy Master to save the Lumina points, and her Luminas should be as follows. Extra shields and revivals can be useful in the case an enemy actually gets a turn, but her exact loadout of Luminas actually depends on the turn order you want. I told you we'd get back to this. Since all party members have First Strike equipped, there are small tweaks you need to make to ensure correct turn order. For single enemies like bosses, you'll want Verso, then Sciel, then Maelle, so Sciel can double Maelle's damage before her first turn. For 2 to 3 strong enemies, you'll want to swap Maelle to go second, and Sciel to go last. Verso can split his burn stacks between enemies. Maelle kills one enemy and then goes back into Virtuose. And then Sciel gives Maelle double damage for the next burning canvas. You could also use Intervention on Verso to give him another round of applying burn stacks, so Maelle can do more damage. It really just depends on what enemies are left after the first round of bludgeoning. To make sure you get the order right for the first turn, add Verso to the party first to ensure he always acts before the other two. If just running into an enemy in the field, or starting a fight in a cutscene or through a menu like the Endless Tower, the first turn will finish in the order you selected them in the menu. But if you strike an enemy in the field, your first selected character will go first, but then the other two are dictated by speed, as are the following turns. It's a bit buggy currently and may get patched in the future, but that seems to be how it's working currently, and nothing a casting of Intervention by Sciel can't fix.
Your turn to shine.
Cut him down.
And that's our guide on how to deal just all the damage. Once again, if you want a more in-depth look, especially a more detailed breakdown about optimizing turn order, make sure to check out Tenkei's build page and full guide on Maxroll. And while you're here, make sure to check out our romance guides. I'll leave you with a fight on Expert mode against one of the strongest optional 2-phase super bosses, during which he doesn't get a turn. And for everything else gaming, you're already in the right place. IGN.
Show me what you can do. I can do it.
Time to end this.
Show me what I can do. Well, well. You're not shy.
Let's have some fun. Ready to strike. Yeah.